that we had some Americans and they were going to join us, and some people from the Philippines. So I wait to see them. It's been overall actually a really good night of boxing. I'm on 3 hours sleep, so if I do make any mistakes, you're going to have to forgive me. But equally, it's all good. Last night we saw Usyk beat Dubois. We saw Okolie at heavyweight. We saw Bam Rodríguez do Bam Rodríguez things. We saw Pacheco Macumbi a little disappointing. We saw Manny Pacquiao at 46 years old arguably get robbed. And we saw Sebastian Fundora put a clinic on against Tszyu. So we're going to talk about all of that. But we're gonna start with the UK card. We're going to start with Usyk Dubois. We're not going to talk too much about the undercard because it was shit.
No, I think we do need to mention one thing about it though. Like, it was a great night for Usyk and Dubois, both of them, regardless of the result. But the undercard was terrible. I think it needs to be mentioned. Like, it was terrible. Like, with the biggest of respects to everyone that fights on that card, for the event that you've got, undisputed heavyweights, very weak card. Not happy about that. Don't think people are getting their value for money. Don't think it was worth. I don't think personally you can justify a pay-per-view stream for one fight. It's the whole card. So £25 just for Usyk and Dubois is not good enough. Like, that was probably, that card was taking me back to Fury and White days.
100%, and less fights as well.
Yeah, so, not happy about the amount of fights. I don't think there was a lot of effort put into this card, to be honest with you.
No, it felt. I mean, Usyk Dubois is a great fight. Can't complain about that. But the actual, you're right. I mean, Okolie Lerena should have been better than it was. That's not their fault. Louis Edmondson versus Lapin is not a bad fight on paper, and it wasn't a bad fight. Like, there was no. I don't think there was any terrible fights, but there was no high quality prospect. Disappointing. We'll talk about Okolie because I personally think he was a little bit overhyped by the commentators last night. They were talking about, could he go and win a world title? I don't think so, personally. I think he looks too big.
With the greatest of respect, I think people should watch fights without commentary.
Yeah.
Because when you're talking about the fight cards and the fighters, there tends to be a bias for the promotion's fighters. If they've got if the commentators are working for the promoter or the promotion, they're very biased towards their own fighters, and you see that all the time. It was actually quite bad. But Okolie done well, but nothing in that performance or nothing in that fight said to me that he had any indication of, look who the current heavyweight champion is. Nothing in that fight says to me that he'd be able to go toe-to-toe with Usyk.
Exactly. And that's why, and then this is the, we're talking, you got Usyk, Dubois, you got AJ, Fury is apparently out of retirement, so we're going to include him in this. And then you've got like Parker, Cabile. I don't think Okolie beats those guys, so it's different. In fairness, Kevin Lerena didn't really engage. He didn't really throw anything, Kevin Lerena. He was very disappointing. And Okolie kept it long. He didn't go back to that clinching stuff that we've seen so often against Billum Smith and that he gets criticised for. I thought he fought well. It just, I think we're very early in the heavyweight Okolie stage of his career. I think it'd be very immature for anyone to say that or suggest that he could go and win a world title yet. I'm not ruling it out completely, but I think the belts would have to shatter. We'd need 5 world champions, and then he would have a chance. But whilst Usyk holds them, I don't think anyone's going to take them anyway. So, and it doesn't look like Usyk's done. And I think we should, honestly, let's just skip straight to it. Let's just go straight to Usyk because I want to talk about it. Alexander Usyk.
Sorry, go on.
Alexander Usyk is the GOAT of this generation so easily. He's actually getting better. Dubois got his game plan wrong, had 25 people in his corner. Dubois did everything that you shouldn't do. It felt like against AJ, he was an unstoppable force. He was always going to knock out AJ. It felt like that, at least. But this is what we were saying on Thursday. Is that has Dubois got a lot better, or have his opponents made him look that way? I think it's a bit of both. I'm not saying he's not got better, but we were talking about Miller, Hrgović, and AJ. And Miller is a lump. Hrgović gets hit constantly. And AJ, we know what happens if AJ does get, if anyone lands and has a bit of power to them and lands on AJ, then it's a problem. But AJ had Dubois really hurt. So we're talking those 3 fights since Usyk, the first Usyk fight. I don't think this wasn't a surprise for me. And I don't think it was a surprise for you either, because you messaged me in all caps saying people owe me money. So I'm gonna guess. I think anyone that knew boxing knew what was happening. So I didn't think it would be as clinical though.
I put a story up yesterday, and I actually think it was a bit over the top, so I deleted it on my Instagram. And but with regards to the fight, no, Dubois has definitely improved, like 100%. You know, the fights that he's been in, the last 3-4 fights, he can only learn from.
Definitely,
and they're good opponents, world level opponents to. You know, he'd have more experience than a lot of fighters in and around that, because he's only 27 as well.
Yeah.
So I believe he'll be back. He'll come back strong.
Yeah,
I think. However, there's improving as a world champion, and then you've got someone like Usyk, who now are we putting in this conversation as one of the greatest heavyweights of all time.
I already was, but
he's got, I would say, what he's doing in and out the ring. And who said Michael Hennessy, Mick Hennessy's son, I was talking to him yesterday. He said this to me, and he said we was having a chat, we was talking about the fight, and he made a very good point. He said he made the comparison to Muhammad Ali, not just because of inside the ring, but outside the ring as well. So everything that he does outside the ring, he's a genuine guy who bases God is the base of him, family, his country. There's no like clubs or this or getting there's nothing unusual about Usyk outside of him boxing. But he also is essentially, every time he gets a win in the ring, he's essentially boosting or pushing a whole country, be it in Ukraine, when you talk about the war that they've got going on, and having an athlete like that perform at the top level, and then putting Ukraine on the map and having them in front of people all the time and having their flags out at Wembley Stadium. It's the Ali effect. Yeah. The effect Ali had on the world, I feel like Usyk has the same effect.
Definitely. It's like Floyd Mayweather called himself the GOAT. And Mike Tyson responded saying, Muhammad Ali will be the GOAT because Muhammad Ali can walk his kids to school without a bodyguard, because nobody will come. They love him too much because he's such like I don't even know how to describe it, but Usyk's got the same aura of in the ring, unbelievable fighter. Absolutely. And we'll talk about how Usyk would fare up against sort of the greats. But you're right, the outside of the ring, this is turning into, if not already, something pretty special. Like he's in the UK, right, against a British fighter, and he has beaten, prior to this fight, 7 British fighters and beaten them bad as well. Tony Bellew knockout, brutal. Derek Chisora is the only one that's come close. Maybe Fury, if we're going to be realistic. I mean, I guess Fury probably put up a little bit more of a fight, but I don't even think so. I think Fury looks better in the second fight. Joshua twice. Dubois, he's knocked out already in Poland. He's now come to the UK fighting Britain's champion, which, by the way, we do not have many champions. We need to start winning titles. Sam Noakes and Anthony Yard, you got to do something in November because we are scarce. But Usyk's come. People are chanting for Usyk. Don't get me wrong, Daniel Dubois had support as well. There was 90,000 people there, and I know a lot of them supported Daniel Dubois. But he is in London. Daniel Dubois is from London, and they are chanting for Usyk.
Can I be honest with you? I went to the weigh-in on Friday. Yeah. The amount of Ukrainians I've seen in Box Park, Wembley, as many as Dubois fans. And to be brutally honest with you as well, there were a lot of people there that were just there for really media or just capturing the footage.
Yeah.
So in terms of actual core fans, I would probably say were more sort of maybe around the top of Box Park. There's 2 levels to it, the top of it.
Yeah.
But a lot of them were cheering for Usyk. But I said yesterday, man, I said to my cousin yesterday, Usyk on the scales come off, and I seen him in person, and I was like, yeah, he looks good. Do you know what I mean? Dubois looked all right as well, but yeah, man, like I'm not too sure. I saw that fight, and I said, yeah, no, Usyk's gonna win. Yeah. I did take a story down because I done too much last night. I'll be honest with you, I got a bit excited, and I put a story up, and I said people owe me money because I've had a couple of wagers. I've had a few people listen to me. I've heard their cases about Dubois winning, and this is no disrespect to Dubois, but this is a sport you're in. You can't be offended. People are going to have opinions. I just thought that Usyk is too good, too sharp, and he's 10 times a better boxer than Dubois will ever be, as long as he's fun. And unfortunately, there's nothing wrong with that, and that's not a disrespect towards Dubois, but Usyk is just that guy. You're talking about heavyweights, and then you got Usyk, who's being compared to, or maybe he's achieved more than Lennox Lewis now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Achieved more than Mike Tyson.
Yeah.
All the great heavyweights achieved. He's now in a conversation to make that comparison to Muhammad Ali. He's the modern. I've heard people say it. Muhammad Ali's Muhammad Ali. Yeah. Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But he's the modern day Muhammad Ali.
I think there's only 3 heavyweights in history that would beat him or could beat him. I think Muhammad Ali could beat Usyk because Muhammad Ali has the same aura, the same ability, but he's probably faster. But they're the same size.
What about Evander?
No. I think it's close, but I think for me, Usyk's too smart.
Yeah.
But Evander, I don't know. But maybe there's 4. There's probably more, right? I'm probably forgetting people. I'm on 3 hours sleep. But the way I'm thinking about it is Muhammad Ali on his day could beat any heavyweight ever because he just could. If he wanted, if Muhammad Ali had the right mindset and he was in his prime as well, because they fought too much, then he could. Lennox Lewis, because I think Lennox Lewis is probably still the best technical boxer that's a natural heavyweight.
Yeah.
And then prime Mike Tyson. And that's only because, and I don't think Mike Tyson's got the skill. I just think when Mike Tyson was 21, 22 years old and just knocking everyone out, I think that overwhelming pressure could maybe get to Usyk. But not mentally.
I hear it.
I'm not joking. Those press conferences would be mental. Mike Tyson would be saying some of the craziest shit in the world. Usyk would be laughing the whole time. So it would be mental. But we're at a point now with Usyk where we are just talking about someone he has cleared the division.
Yeah.
What, 3 or 4 years ago we were like, the top 3 heavyweights are Fury, AJ, and Wilder. Wilder's obviously fallen off because he was always going to. I think I think if you really watch the fights like we do, you knew that was happening. But we were convinced AJ and Fury were the best 2, and we thought as British fans, naively, we were like, yeah, we got the best 2. Usyk came up from cruiserweight. And everyone was a bit like, oh, okay, we'll watch him versus Derek Chisora. And it was a good performance, but not that impressive. I don't think anyone thought this guy's going to go and actually run through the division. Yeah. But he is huge now. I tell you what, we can rule out. He's never going to cruiserweight again. He's too big.
Nah, but I do think as well. 100%. I know Jaya Pacheco got mentioned into a conversation, but I do think Jaya Pacheco needs to conquer his own land first before you can look at even. You can't warrant a fight with Usyk when you haven't unified your division. That's what it's like. That's what it's on now. Yeah. Unless you're a mandatory for his titles, which Jay Pacheco's not. He's not got a leg to stand on to fight Usyk right now. He's got to win.
No, not at all.
He will win, and I believe he will win cruiserweight titles, by the way. I believe so. The inactivity at the moment, or the level of up and down level opponents isn't good, but he just needs a world title fight ASAP, get back onto that. Then he can look at fight. He's young, though. Jabate is young, so it's got time. Yeah. One thing I didn't like, and I do think we need to mention it, is did you see Jake Paul facing off a Usyk in the ring?
Yeah, I wasn't even. I think it's a disgrace. I don't know.
So it was very, like a great moment, I think, for me, which I'm actually really surprised Turkey let that happen because I know he's a big boxing fan, but no boxing fan wants to see that.
No.
And also, he's ranked 14th in the cruiserweight division at WBA.
Yeah.
Usyk's a heavyweight.
Yeah, I understand it. I don't know why he's allowed in the ring. I kind of understand interviewing him ringside because it makes sense. You know, you get the clip that Jake Paul's here, all that. But when you've got legitimate candidates to be Usyk's next fight, you've got Ajit Kabayel ringside. You've got Joe Parker getting in the ring, but also Joe Parker is the mandatory. And everyone thinks Joseph Parker needs a shot. If you're going to do a face-off, which they clearly, Usyk didn't really want to do with anyone. If you're going to do it, it's not Jake Paul. It can't be. I don't even like the fact Jake Paul, Anthony Joshua is starting to turn into an actual thing.
But yeah, that's enough said about that.
Yeah, it's a weird thing. I don't know why they did it. Usyk round 5 knockout, kind of poetic. He's done it in the same round where last time we had the controversial low blow. I find that quite funny, but whatever. I also found it quite funny in round 2 or 3 when there was another shot on the belt line, and I think both Usyk and Dubois almost laughed about it in the ring because they kind of knew potentially in the last fight, whatever. But Dubois will come back. Yeah, Dubois 27. I think Dubois could easily become a unified heavyweight champion. There's going to be a period of time where he will be the best. I think if he sticks at it. Let's jump across to America. Let's have a look at overall. The card was, it was pretty strong. It was a stronger overall card than what we had in Wembley. Bam Rodríguez did Bam Rodríguez things as usual with a round 10 knockout over Cafu. Cafu very good though. I thought it'd be a lot quicker. I thought it'd be round 4. So Cafu was impressive off the ropes, but never winning the rounds really. Let's talk about that in a couple of weeks. Properly talk about it just for a little bit. Nishant Dev won by knockout again. He looks good. I didn't watch his fight, but I've seen the clips. He went 6 rounds. He got the sixth round knockout, and his rival Amari Jones, and there's already a bit of something heating up there. Probably with the highlight of the night, really, with his body shot. Diego Pacheco versus Trevor McCumbee was pretty disappointing. I thought Pacheco boxed well, but
on paper, that's a great fight.
Yeah.
But I feel like one of them won. But on paper doesn't always mean you're going to get a great fight. But on paper, that you look at that and go, that's a good fight.
Yeah. I said it on the stream last night. I can't criticize Pacheco because he's hitting and he's not getting hit.
Yeah.
And that's the aim of the game. My issue was he was winning the rounds, he was staying safe, but it was 2 in the morning, 1 in the morning, whatever it was. And he wasn't, the output was low. I would have wanted to see him do more. I felt he could have got McCumbee out of there.
Yeah.
When he did decide to land, he seemed to land flush on the chin every time. But there was a clear size difference between the two of them. McCumbee was a lot bigger, a lot stronger. So I get the tactics from Pacheco, but the early clash of heads didn't help either. Every time they seemed to come in for an exchange, there was some form of hitting with the head. So it wasn't the best fight. Austin Williams won on the undercard. He was very lucky that Vazquez wasn't ready for 10 rounds. I think if Vazquez was ready for 10 rounds, he probably wouldn't have quit in the 8th. But a good fight card overall. And then you get to the main event. So I'm running through this a little bit quick, but realistically, there's not too much to talk about the undercard. Yeah. Jesse Rodríguez, he's just inevitable. Like, he's now got to the point when we talk about Naoya Inoue on the streams, and we talk about Crawford and we talk about Usyk, we kind of say without too much shadow of doubt, this is probably what they'll do.
Yeah.
And then it slowly turns into, Rodríguez will win on the weekend. And you don't always give him that much time. We don't, because we know this is what's happened. And it's actually got to that point. Bam Rodríguez, here's a stat that I heard last night. Of his last 4 fights, he has fought 4 world champions, and he's knocked 4 of them out, and they've never been knocked out before. That's how powerful we're talking. He's 25 years old, and he's going to unify the whole division.
Why doesn't he get the same love that other pound-for-pound fighters get?
Probably the level of opponent. Unfortunately, super flyweight's not the strongest division. So after Estrada, it's not like, I think it will be a relatively easy run for him.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, there's a lot, like Cafu's undefeated. The guy whose name I can't remember, but the guy's fighting in November. He's 18-0.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like these are guys that anyone else has beat, but when you're that good, suddenly the guys, if you haven't heard of these fighters, especially if we haven't heard of these fighters, it's hard to get excited by it. But the way he fights is exciting, so that's the positive. Interestingly, last night on the stream we had Cafu's neighbor in the chat, if you believe him, which I kind of do. But I had to break the news to him that Cafu lost by knockout, which was tough. I was careful how I worded that.
So I think you drop around a cake to him tomorrow.
Yeah. Yeah. But do you know what? I think Cafu will get signed by one of the bigger promoters. I think he showed he's got a lot to give. He was landing clean. I've never seen anyone land that clean on Bam, except Estrada when he put him down. But even that was one shot.
Yeah.
But Cafu was landing clean. He boxed really well. I just don't think he had the game plan to win the fight.
Yeah.
He always was going again, always on his back foot. So impressive that he made Bam think. But I was saying it throughout the fight, I felt like Bam was always just going to up the level anyway. And when he did, it was too much. Kind of what we expected. Now, in Vegas, the fights were a lot better. There was quite a lot of weird judging in Vegas.
I heard.
So I'm not going to go through the whole card. I didn't watch it all, but I watched Figueroa versus Joet Gonzalez. Figueroa got the decision. Joke of a decision. I watched from round 3, and I had Joet Gonzalez win every single round, par 1. The chat had the same thing. I went on Twitter, they had the same thing. Like, I don't know what the judges were smoking, but it was crazy. It was too strong. And the main event, which let's talk about Sebastian Fundora. Sorry, let's talk about Tszyu, Sebastian Fundora. I don't think Tszyu's got it.
No, I don't think it was a lucky. I need to watch the fight back properly, the highlights, but from what I've seen so far, I don't think, because it's a rematch, isn't it? Yeah, I don't think it was a fluke. I don't think it was a fluke. I just don't think he's good enough.
No.
For Fundora.
I think the first fight, it's crazy. I think Tszyu benefited from having that cut. Because then we start watching the fight and going, maybe that's the cut's the reason that he's losing.
Fundora is the weakest champion in that division, though, by the way. In terms of a target for people, I think. Because there was talks of him fighting the likes of Errol Spence. It's not a planet that Fundora beats Spence on.
No, I agree with that.
And you're talking about essentially ex-champion who's on his way out in Spence. And we're saying that Spence would walk him around the ring on a leash.
100%.
So I it's a good win for Fundora, but I can't see him being champion for long. If someone comes along and fights him.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think who there is. I mean, any of the unification fights. The name that I'm not even going to try and say, but the IBF champion who knocked out Tszyu in round 3 would likely beat Fundora. Madrimov, Virgil Ortiz, they all beat Fundora.
Yeah.
Errol Spence, definitely. Crawford, I know he's at Canelo, but if Crawford wanted to. You're right. Fundora's weak. He's a very good champion for what he is. And he looked good last night. I don't know where Tszyu lies. Like, as a fighter, he's great to watch. He always comes for a fight. But last night, he was outclassed completely. And where in the first fight, I actually felt Tszyu was winning the fight and got really unlucky, even in how it ended because of the cut.
Yeah.
This time around, it felt like of the two of them, the one that has not improved at all was Tszyu. Whereas Sebastian Fundora seemed to have a game plan and knocked him down in round 1, and Tszyu had to quit on his stool by round 8, or round 7. So a weird moment for Tszyu. I don't know where his career goes, to be honest, because he was riding on the back of the performance against Fundora in that first fight a little bit, and then that's obviously not done him good here.
I don't know. It's hard, man. As I said to you, I'm not so massively sold by Fundora. I mean, you've got to look at. You're looking at he fought 30. Like, he didn't even fight the interim champion in Virgil Ortiz, which is mental. Tszyu's third in the rankings. You've got Ramos second, Boacek first, and then we go down, and Thurman's in that list. Madrimov 7th. You've got Lima, you've got Conwell, Josh Kelly's in there. There's some great names in there that I just think Fundora doesn't beat, to be honest with you.
No. And Boots is coming up.
Funnily enough, Spence is not in the rankings at all.
Spence hasn't fought since Crawford.
Yeah.
He mandated that he would fight Fundora for the belt, but then Spence never put up but he didn't sign for it. He didn't want it at that time. I personally don't think we'll ever see Spence fight again. I think he's had too many outside of boxing injuries, as well as the Crawford fight, which is he's made enough money. There's no reason for him to fight. And if you think about how many times that guy's been in a car crash that's nearly killed him, I think it's all right for him to just go spend his time. And I still think, look, the weight is a problem against Crawford, but I think Spence is great. I think he's up there. If he comes back, then there's an opportunity for him.
Every dog has their day in it.
Yeah,
it's really that simple. Like,
definitely look at Dubois. Dubois' day was against AJ.
No. I wouldn't. No, I mean as in a bad way. Like, every dog has their day in terms of they're up and then they're down. I think it's too young.
Exactly. Dubois.
It's too young to put Dubois in that quote. Spence is like, he can't. I don't see Spence recovering. Dubois, I could see winning a world title again.
Yeah, you could have his day again. You can have your day again. But Dubois in front of 98,000 or 96,000 against Anthony Joshua, battering him over the ring. That's Dubois' day. Dubois getting knocked out on his ass and having it handed to him by Usyk in round 5. That's not his day.
You know what the difference is? A lot of fighters will not do that to Dubois. You just got an elite fighter, like super elite in terms of one of the greatest. We're putting him in a conversation as one of the greatest heavyweights now, to be honest with you. One of the greatest cruiserweights, one of the greatest heavyweights. Yeah. That's a mind that if you get knocked out by him, like Don Charles said, it's a great man. It's a great fighter to get knocked out by. Yeah. To be honest with you, if you're going to get knocked out by anyone, you get knocked out by the best.
No, I agree. Dubois will be fine.
He'll come back. I don't think Usyk's got that long left. I know we're talking about Tszyu, but I'm saying is I don't think Usyk's got that long left.
I agree. I think maybe.
I think his interviews afterwards suggests that he's got maybe. I don't think he's got long left, because I think what he explained afterwards, and I watched it this morning, was for this camp he spent 3 months away from his family. Previously, he's missed the birth of his child.
Yeah,
like he himself has says, I don't know how much longer I can do this for. It gets harder as he gets older. He wants to. You want to be in the sport, but not in the sport long enough that your body or something gets taken from you.
I would personally like him to fight Joseph Parker and then call it after that. Turkey Al Sheikh wants him to fight Moses Atalma. That feels far too early.
Yeah.
But do you know what? I was thinking this last night. It does feel too early, but when you think about it, I think Atalma's probably the only one with movement that could actually keep up with Usyk. I think Usyk would beat him. I'm not saying Atalma has even really any hope right now. Yeah. I don't think Atalma would not beat Usyk, or right now he wouldn't at least. But could we see anyone else keep up with the movement? No, they just couldn't. So it feels like that's the only option. Maybe, but it's not competitive. That's riding the hype train of Atalma and looking at how he moves in the ring and comparing it to Usyk. But you got to think about the level of opponent. If Atalma makes Dillian White look silly in the ring and the way that Atalma moves against White, then maybe we can start entertaining the idea of it. But I think Dillian White's a long way off world level right now. So Turkey saying he wants Atalma feels like more promotion than a fight that's realistically going to happen. I think Usyk fights Joseph Parker and calls it a day. If Usyk beats Joseph Parker and then goes and beats Ajit Kabayel and then calls... I don't know. He doesn't need to do anything else. This is the thing. It's up to him. He could turn around right now. He could post on Instagram and say, do you know what? I'm actually retired. And he'll retire as one of the greats. In my head, my problem is Joseph Parker doesn't beat Usyk.
Yeah.
Ajit Kabayel could maybe be the hardest test, but does he? I don't think he beat Usyk. And then you're looking at, I don't want to be rude, but scraps, because that's where you start looking at Zhang Zhang. That's where you start looking at AJ again, Fury again, Dubois again. Dave Allen. That's the point we're getting with these. Maybe Michael Hunter, but he's already beat Michael Hunter. We're running out of fighters that Usyk hasn't beat, or that we know Usyk 100% would beat. So far too elite.
Yeah.
For anyone. Meanwhile, talking of sort of generational greats, we saw Pacquiao return, and he was really, really unlucky. Yeah, it was. I wasn't sure why I was getting called. Pacquiao should have won.
I'm kind of glad he didn't, though. I'll be real with you.
See, that's what I thought. And then by round 9, I was invested. We had like 40 Filipino people watching. I could see on the analytics where they were from. We had people from the Philippines in the chat. We had a guy called Antonio, who I think we might be seeing more of as we stream more, because he was saying he's going to come back. Hopefully he does, because he was really good. And he was saying he lives in the Philippines, and he was saying the streets are empty. Everyone is inside watching Manny Pacquiao right now. I think that would have been such a cool thing to actually see live. Just like he was saying, the markets, everything was closed. Everyone was just watching. Don't buy into it about Manny Pacquiao looking 26 instead of 46. He didn't. He looked every bit of 46. But Mario Barrios was far too respectful. Every single time Barrios landed, Manny's head was popping back. Manny looked hurt when he got hit to the body. And I don't know if Barrios was too respectful or Pacquiao was too twitchy, because Pacquiao did a lot of really good stuff that we haven't seen for a long time. And he certainly looked better than he did against Ugas. But if they run it back, this fight is embarrassing for Mario Barrios. Really embarrassing. You couldn't beat a 46-year-old, and the 46-year-old
has been inactive for the last 4 years.
Yeah, he's got more Senate votes than he does rounds boxed. So I don't know. Look, the main point here is that the mandatory for the belt is Conor Benn, and Conor Benn would absolutely. Conor Benn would hurt Manny Pacquiao badly.
Yeah.
That's a fight I never want to see. More of an interesting fight is Conor Benn versus Mario Barrios. And Conor Benn would hurt Barrios.
Yeah.
Again, I think it'd be really bad, but at least Barrios is a younger man who could probably take it. So disappointing in the judges. I don't understand how in what world you give that fight as a draw. I need to watch it again. I do. I was maybe biased. I've been pretty vocal. I'm not a massive fan of Barrios. I don't think he fights particularly well. I think he's fallen upwards in his career. I've got a lot of respect for him because I think when you're an overachiever,
yeah,
you clearly work hard to get there. But I hope that is the last time we see Manny Pacquiao, because I do think against any higher level of competition, he gets dropped and stopped bad.
Yeah.
But equally, he should have won last night. And we should now be talking about the ridiculous fight of Manny Pacquiao versus Floyd Mayweather too. That's where we should be right now. But we're not, because Pac-Man got robbed. I don't know. Have you seen much of the fight? I know you weren't awake for it, but did you see much of it?
I've caught bits of it, but I need to watch it back properly.
Yeah. It's a good fight. I'm very surprised that he could keep the tempo, Manny Pacquiao, but the tempo was slow.
Yeah.
Well,
what do you expect from a 46-year-old? And that's just me without even what that is.
Yeah, I didn't expect anything.
Maybe it's a godsend though that the decision didn't go his way, because Pacquiao fighting again, with the greatest respect to the age that he is, maybe it's not good for boxing. I mean, the way he was given a world title shot was pretty corrupt anyway.
Yeah, very.
So, and I don't mean this in a disrespectful way to all our Filipino fans, but essentially, like, if fighters, that says to me that fighters have not really got to do much to get a title shot. They don't even have to fight. Like, where are we at with boxing now? That's my thing. So, yeah, I mean, I was never too keen on the fight anyway. Is there a rematch clause?
No, I don't think so.
No, it wouldn't be, because he's a challenger. Yeah. I don't think you can't enforce it again without looking dodgy. But then Mauricio Sullivan's done worse things before, so it wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah, he won't care about that. It would have made him money. I don't think Barrios would take the fight.
Yeah.
He doesn't have. It's kind of a compliment, but it's not when we're talking about boxing. I think Barrios is too nice. He didn't want to hurt the 46-year-old legend, who, let's be honest, he probably grew up watching and to some extent might have idolized. So in that way, I have a lot of respect for Barrios in the way of you're a competitor and you're trying to take your world title. It was shit. Yeah, but look, the facts are pretty simple. Manny is still quick, but he's quicker than Barrios, who's, I think, quite slow. Manny's got no power in those hands anymore. They say power is the last thing to go. I disagree. I think Manny's power has gone for years. He's not knocking anyone out or hurting anyone. His movement's still good, but it's good against someone whose movement is not that good. Like, we need to. I've seen a lot of people saying like Pacquiao's back and all this, and it's very cool. And last night, watching him do the ring walk, watching the fans at the MGM going crazy for him, was amazing. It was so cool. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. He's a 46-year-old man, and he did look every bit of 46. Don't get me wrong, a very, very, very fit 46-year-old who could move around the ring very well, who for 12 rounds was actually pretty comfortable. But he was breathing hard in round 8. And if you put him in there with somebody who, like Conor Benn, who's still got a lot to prove, Conor Benn will take his head off. Brian Norman Jr. hurts him. Devin Haney is probably the nicest fight because Haney likely would just outbox him quite easily for 12 rounds. But He's got to stay. He's got to stay retired now. I mean, I don't even want to see Barrios. I think if he gets back in there, Barrios' corner were telling back. They were literally saying to Barrios, "You fucking idiot! You're showing him too much respect. Just stop. Just hurt him." That was the instructions, because that's all he had to do. That left hand, Barrios' left hand could not miss. I don't think he realizes, and when he watches it back, it's going to be so frustrating. He was probably at most a foot away from Pacquiao's head, his left hand, the whole fight. Yeah. Every time he threw it and it landed, it popped his head back. So Barrios will look back on last night with probably massive regret. Pacquiao should look back on it as a victory and go, do you know what? I'm now going to go off. I've proved I can do it at 46. That's me. My worry is, like you say, that I don't think this is the end. And I saw him in the press conference and he said Pac-Man's back, and I really hope he does not mean there's another fight, because he shouldn't be.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's tough. But look, I think that's a good place to end it. Highlight is Usyk. Usyk is unbelievable. We could talk about him for hours. Jesse Rodríguez is pretty inevitable. Pacquiao is back, but let's not believe the hype too much with it. I think more Barrios being shit helped. Yeah, and a really good night for boxing. A massive fight, massive fight night, and it lived up to it. Usyk Dubois undercard wasn't great, but other than that, the main event worked up. So happy days. Should Pacquiao be fighting? No, but he did. It was safe-ish.
Were you what reading that Twitch?
Yeah. No. I'm just generally talking. That is in just a question. I was just saying, should he be fighting? He shouldn't be, but it happened, and now the fight's done. Happy days. All in all, good fight night. What have we got coming up? That's the real question. Have we got anything immediately coming up? I'm not sure we do. Hold on. Is it? Okay, we got Bruce Carrington fighting and Xander Zayas for the super welter title. I guess that's interesting. I mean, that's next Saturday. We'll see what the attention is like for that, because it's an American fight. It could be worth it, but we'll see. Big card in Japan. We haven't got anything for a while. And then it's 16th of August, Nick Paul. Well, most of the time versus Dillian White.
Yes.
So almost a month without any big fights. So we might need to think of something to do in that time.
We'll go to the drawing board.
Yeah. We might do some fantasy fights. Maybe we'll do a bit more about that Usyk versus other generational greats. Because we are going to struggle here. But anyway, look, doesn't matter. That's for us to work out. So if you want to, please do go ahead and watch the full 4-hour stream. More likely is we'll probably put clips up, and we will talk about it on Thursday at 7:45. Boxing This Week 58. Really appreciate the support on the last night stream. Lots to go on, and I'm knackered.
No, that's right. Get yourselves subscribed, like, share, and subscribe. Make sure you're joining in the competition. Big shout out to all the subscribers, obviously, that we had on the stream last night with Connor. We gained quite a lot of subscribers from that. You've all been entered into the competition for an Amazon voucher.
Yes.
£50 Amazon voucher. All you've got to do is subscribe, leave a comment on one of our videos, i.e. one of the lives or Boxing This Week's. If you missed the live, you can just comment on it afterwards. But make sure you subscribe. That's the most important thing. Yeah. Thank you for everyone, obviously, that is continuing to watch us. I think it's for me to say now that when me and Connor started doing this together, we was finishing lives and maybe getting 2 to 3 to 4 views per live at the start.
Yeah.
And now, last night, you guys helped us. We done 15K nearly.
Yeah, just under, but pretty much.
10K previously as well. A couple of thousand on a few of the lives. Like, we wouldn't we wouldn't have the numbers without you guys. So we are forever grateful for that. And we will always put the fans first.
Yeah.
That's all I got to say.
Yeah, last night was sick. Today's been good as well. This is the thing, like you say, I mean, we've three, 4 views. Today we're ending on 82 already, and it's early morning after the fight, so we can't expect too much. But yeah, no, we appreciate it. Remember, subscribe, like, share. We are back on Thursday, 7:45 or 7, but probably 7:45 for boxing this week, and which is going to be a pretty massive episode. Kind of covers all any after facts that come out and more. So yeah, we'll see you then, and goodbye. Thank you.